and right now, that we may end up with an America that is a little poorer and a little meaner than the one we inherited from our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents. And we have decided that that is unacceptable, that that is un-American, that there's a better future for America. That's why we're here today. We know what those challenges are. That we've got a healthcare system that's broken, that's bankrupting families, but also bankrupting the nation. We know that we got an education system that is teaching the few but failing too many. That we are not preparing our young people to compete in this new global economy. We know that math and science scores relative to the rest of the world are stagnant or declining. We know that we're not producing enough engineers and scientists. We know that we have to invest in our young people in order for this economy to grow, and we understand that we continue to underinvest in our young people. That we've got a Congress right now that instead of making it easier to go to college is making it tougher, and we understand that that's unacceptable. We know that we got an energy crisis on our hands that, as a consequence of a lack of an energy strategy, not only are we held hostage to the spot oil market and the whims and vagaries of countries overseas, but we also know that we're sending $800 billion a day to some of the most hostile nations on earth, helping them to buy weapons, helping them to oppress their own people. We understand as well that in the bargain, we are melting the polar ice caps and warming the planet. And that if we continue on the path that we're on right now, then we are going to have a planet that is unrecognizable. And that it will impact not just our generation, but generations to come. We understand that we got an economy that has never been more productive, that has never generated more wealth. And yet we understand that only some are benefiting, that the burdens and benefits of this economy are not evenly spread across the country, that while you've got some people who have never had it so good, making hundreds of millions of dollars, then the average person is seeing their wages stagnant, they're seeing their salaries not move, even as the costs of healthcare and education and retirement and gasoline, the cost of everything's going up while their wages are going down, and families are anxious, and we understand that we've got to meet that challenge. And most of all, we understand that we are in the midst of a war that should have never been authorized and should have never been waged. And that after spending $500 billion and seeing almost 3,200 precious lives lost and thousands more wounded and maimed, their lives never the same again, that we are actually less safe, that America's standing in the world is diminished, that we are less able to affect what happens around the globe. You know, every Thursday I have a constituent coffee with Dick Durbin, my senior colleague from Illinois, and we have a town hall meeting at the Capitol. We open it up to anybody who wants to come and welcome them in. They can ask us questions. We take photographs. And one day, a veteran, not much older than Greg, walked in with his wife. Except he hadn't come back the way Greg had come back. He had been for 6 months in a coma after his patrol had encountered an IED that had exploded. And as he walked in, I saw that there was a gash down the center of his forehead, and that he had been blinded in both eyes. And the bottom half of his face was entirely disfigured. And he had lost use of one arm and one leg. And as I sat there and listened to him tell me his story, I wasn't looking at him, I was looking at his wife, looking into her eyes. As they described the adjustments and the difficulties of negotiating the bureaucracy in terms of getting disability benefits, and as they talked about their daughter, who was about my daughter's age, and having to make the adjustments of seeing their father change like this. And then they talked about how their daughter had hugged this veteran and said, "I love you, Daddy," but also understood that their lives would never be the same again. I was reminded of why we're here today.